main class page. And if you page down to week 2, which is where we are when I'm recording this video, go down to the assignment link right here and click on it. And this is the overview for your paper. It tells you everything that you need as far as what prompt to address, what to include, and then how you'll be graded. So look up here. It says describe an example of a contract that you or someone you know entered. And these contracts are everywhere. Most students end up talking about a lease agreement for an apartment, or they talk about a cell phone agreement, some employment contracts, but those cell phones and apartments are the biggest ones, and some mortgages. But usually it's apartment leases and cell phones. And so then it says, define the 5 essential elements of an enforceable contract. And I will show you what that looks like in a student paper. And then it says, explain the circumstances of a breach. Now, if there was no breach in your contract example, you could just give an example of what it would look like if there had been a breach. Okay, to earn those points, you need to talk about breach and remedies. Okay, so then let's pull up the grading rubric. You just click on that link. And let's zoom in here a little bit so that everybody can see, because when I grade your papers, this is what I'm bound by. I click the little boxes, I have some flexibility, but this is what I have to use. Okay, so if you are informed, you'll be able to use this rubric like a checklist while you write your paper and just check the box off as you address the subject so you know that you're earning as many points as possible. Okay, so here, describe an example of a contract. How will you do that? It's worth 1.5 points, okay? Define the 5 essential elements of a contract. 3 points, and this is the scale. Okay, explain breach and remedies, 2.5 points. Now these subjects of the rubric are a little flexible. How well do you explain the issues? We call this critical thinking, explanation of issues. So if all you do is insert your definitions and you don't provide any of your own analysis, you're not going to get as much of this 0.75 of a point, okay? And same for evidence. Are you really citing sources and using quality academic sources to support your arguments? If you're doing that, you're going to get these points, okay? Relationship to text, it means that you're really using your sources in a critical way. It goes very closely with evidence. And then, do you have grammatical errors, or are you in control of the mechanics and the syntax, APA formatting, page requirement? Okay, so this is what you need to be aware of as you're drafting, and I really recommend that you keep it up on your screen as you're writing, or you print it out and you just check them off like a checklist, so you can just earn those points, earn as many as you can. Let's take a look at a student sample paper, okay? And here it is now. Let's make it bigger. Okay, so basically when you see this student paper, a few things are going to become apparent to you. This running head right here, that's an APA formatting requirement. If you need help formatting that, just let me know and I can walk you through it. I'll also post a link to some helpful websites that give you instructions, but it has to do with how your heading is formatted. If you look here, you've got a header section 1, and somewhere in the paper, the students inserted a section break. Let's see if we can find it. Yep, there's a section break somewhere in here so that the headers here look different. The student has an excellent title page. This is how it should look. Okay, they've used Times New Roman font in size 12. And then here they have an excellent introduction. Okay, in today's age, knowing the different elements of a contract can be essential to help avoid situations where a lawsuit could occur. A contract must have 5 elements, and then they've got their citation right here. These are the 5 elements, they list them right here. So that's a really solid introduction. I recommend that in academic writing. It helps to orient your reader and guide your reader along the way. And then this student has used separate paragraphs for each element of the contract. Offer, here's the definition that's required by your paper, and the citation. Okay, and then an example. That's the student's analysis. That's that critical thinking element that I was telling you about. And here's a paragraph for acceptance. Here's a paragraph for consideration. And again, the student has given examples and analysis in these paragraphs. I would recommend that you tie back to your specific contracts example here so that you can really demonstrate that you understand how to apply these elements of a contract to your example in real life, because that's what this class is all about. It's trying to take this theoretical law stuff and make it important in your work and in your regular life. Okay, so we scroll down here, breach of contract. And here a student talks about a contract example with breach and then remedies. So it's not very complicated. This is the story about what happened and remedy, okay? One remedy was, and then here was the student's suggestion, another remedy. And then a conclusion. That's the conclusion right here. Knowing these different elements are very helpful. The 5 elements are important. So wraps it all up for the reader. Notice they've used double spacing. They've used indentations here. They've used some transitions. And then we get to the references page, which is at the very end. And it's correctly formatted using APA formatting guidelines, which I will post for you. Okay, so that is an example of a pretty solid paper. Looks pretty good. Let's head back into our class now. So every paper that you do for this course and at Ashford should follow those formatting guidelines and those writing standards. Clear, concise, easy to understand. It weaves together the topics that we talk about in the textbook and then your own application and analysis. That is the kind of paper that's going to get full points. Now, if you have any questions or you need any additional help, we have course resources that are available for you. Me, always available to review drafts, to give you advice on thesis statements, to schedule a writing conference so that we can talk about the direction that you're going in. And then we have, if I can find it, this writing reviser here under course resources right here. And it's really, really handy because it helps you with your writing process. Okay, so that's just a little bit of advice about how to write a really awesome paper for this class and for your other classes. I'll be posting this video along with some helpful links and examples of citing our textbook, etc., so that you can earn those APA citation points without too much stress. And as always, if you'd like to schedule a writing conference or a meeting with me, you can always email me, but then you can add a conference here, I believe. And if you have trouble with the conferences feature, please just let me know. But I want to make myself as available to you as possible. And so please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, everybody.